Hey everybody, it is Wednesday and we all know what that means here at Shield Maidens Creative Creations. It is New Comic Book Day. This is the day where I go out to my local comic book shop. I find you comics that start with a number 1. And that's going to mean that they're either number 1 in a series, number 1 in a story arc, or just a brand new comic altogether. I then go ahead and read them and I bring them to you guys and tell you what I thought. That way, if you're looking for something new and, something you haven't read before, as far as comics go, hopefully, maybe I've found something that you find just as interesting as I did. So, of course, we want to give everyone a chance to go ahead and join us live. So, let's go ahead and just get everything shared out here, shall we? While I do that, I am going to talk about just some of the kind of fun things that I've got coming up in the next week or so. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, you probably saw earlier where I had posted about, where I had posted the photo of the new Disney Villains makeup collection from ColourPop. Mine was delivered today. And so I wanted to go ahead and make sure that I got that out to all of you. So I'm not sure. I know that normally is on the weekends are when I try to share new makeup looks with you guys and kind of debut stuff like that. I'm just not sure how that's going to work this weekend, just because of the fact that this weekend I do have a big event going on with Heroes and Villains, a cosplay called Princess Fest, out at the Wonderland of the Americas Mall. And so I'm going to be out there all weekend doing that. So I'm not sure how that's going to work as far as me getting a chance to review that. But I am definitely going to try to get that out there. That way you guys can, see exactly what that collection's all about and, kind of see what kind of fun stuff I'm going to be able to do with that. Because like I said, I was definitely impressed with it. Like I said, you can always find it. It's the photo of the PR box, which, oh my God, was freakishly massive. Like, the UPS man rang my doorbell. And I'm expecting, a box of makeup. No, it was a box of makeup. It was 20 pounds. Which, It has me excited and scared all at the same time. Because I'm like, oh, the prettiest. And I'm like, oh, Lord, where am I going to put all this? That's all right. I'll figure it out. I'm creative like that. So, we will go ahead and let's go ahead and dig into these comics. Because today I found some kind of cool stuff. This one here you might notice is a little bit bigger than most comics. This is Amber Blake from IDW. I know you guys know that I do a ton of stuff for IDW. They're coming out with a lot of really great titles. And the fact that they're coming out with those really great titles, I like that. It's a lot of original stuff. It's a lot of unique stuff, which I kind of dig. Now, of course, you look at the front, and I mean, some of us kind of I know I kind of got a little bit of a Jessica Jones meets James Bond feeling from this. But I'm a big fan of Jessica Jones, so hey, I was totally okay with that. That didn't turn me away from this comic at all. So to give you just a little bit of background on this, of course you do have a female protagonist here as your main character. And it does kind of go back to some of your more classic comic book art. And it starts you here where Amber, unfortunately, is being left at an orphanage. And her mom's running from something, but we don't know what. Try not to spoil any of it. Being an orphan, she somehow ends up getting accepted to some, really super top secret academy thing. But, with all silver linings, sometimes things aren't always what they seem. So upon graduating, things kind of start to go south pretty quick. And she realizes that for her own safety, she's going to need to get out of there. In the process of this, she is drugged, she is taken for human trafficking, and rescued by this very Jamie Lee Curtis looking type character right here. And taken to another creepy mansion of privilege. So naturally, I can kind of understand the character being a little bit apprehensive, knowing what she's gone through in the past based on what I've read. But it definitely, it kind of gave it that fun, like, super spy, Black Widow kind of feeling. Because she's being trained to become this. Unlike Jessica Jones, where it just kind of happened. Well, I mean, it didn't just happen. She was a science project. But where she was just born with these abilities and it took her here. This character is actually taken in by an organization and trained, much like James Bond. I thought this was a great read. I kind of liked the larger format. I just thought it was kind of neat. You don't see larger comics very often, and I thought it was kind of a neat change. Plus, it made it stand up on out on the shelf. Big, bright, red, fabulous. So, like I said, IDW has been doing pretty good in my books lately. I know there were a couple months back when we had some hit or miss titles. But Amber Blake, I definitely, if you are looking for something that is along the super spy / epic woman of badassery, Amber Blake is going to be your title. Now, like I said, this is definitely for mature readers, just like Jessica Jones. This is not for children. So keep that in mind as well. Next, we're going to move on to Bronze Age Boogie. Now, I look at this and it kind of reminds me of the newest Far Cry game. It's all techno and bright and colorful and yeah, kind of in your face. So I really wasn't sure what to expect, but I was like, Bronze Age Boogie, it's either going to be really great or really bad, one or the other. Definitely pleasantly surprised though. It starts you out in 1975. Some sketchy folks looking for some sketchy drugs. And a talking chimp. I mean, can you really go wrong with the talking chimp? I don't think so. From there, of course, from the talking chimp, it moves on to what happens to be 4,000 years in the past from that point. And you have a massive war going on. There are dinosaurs. There are cavemen. There are just all kinds of not pleasant things going on. There's some wizardry. Still fun imagery, but, you know. And there's this young girl and her father who is a clans leader that they're trying to defeat the evil wizards with the giant sparkly jewel. And somehow, through all of this, once again, here's our chimp friend. Very interesting. And in many ways, this young girl, she has abilities. Back then, they would have seen her as some sort of seer or a shaman, because she just has a way of seeing things and knowing about things before they happen. Some of this, I think, might have to do with the chimp. Not 100% sure, though. Somehow, in the process of this, aliens invade the swords at it, which isn't going to do any good because they're just going to cut them down with their lasers. Yes, in the words of Dr. Evil, lasers. Somehow she gets put into some sort of protective bubble and transported to the future, where she's now seeing a woman who's been in her visions. She's hearing some of the same dialogue that she had heard then. And once again, there's our chimp friend. So, definitely kind of an interesting story. I like the graphics. The graphics are definitely kind of cool. So yeah, it was a fun read. It was lots of action though, so you really kind of like it's a roller coaster ride because it's like action, 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 emotion, 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 action, 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 emotion, emotion, emotion. So you kind of got to be ready for those ebbs and flows in it. But overall, you know, not bad. Ahoy Comics, first time I've heard of them. So, like I said, I was kind of excited for two reasons. Like I said, this is just kind of a cool cover. I dig the color palette on this. And the fact that it was not only a #1, but it was a #1 from a comic company I've never read before. So, woot woot, win-win for me. Then our final comic of the evening is from Image Comics. It's called Section 0. Now, this one, I picked it up because I was just kind of like, well, that's kind of a neat artwork. I mean, kind of reminds me a little bit reminiscent of, like, early X-Men. You know, so I definitely wanted to kind of, you know, keep an eye on that. Because I kind of dug it. I was like, all right, we got some superheroes. We got some super mutants. We got some stuff and things going on with this. And you can kind of see that just from the cover. So that I definitely thought was cool. And you open it up, and it kind of starts you off in Australia, where these poor farmers are losing all of their livestock to some sort of enlarged feline creature. There's a catch. In Australia, there are no indigenous large cats. So it's not like North America, where we got bobcats, we got cougars, we got mountain lions, we got a puma. None of those are indigenous to Australia. But from there, it takes us to the middle of the jungle in, we're just going to say the South Pacific, because it doesn't really clarify for me where they're coming from, where they're at. But definitely the South Pacific. And they end up coming across this bug creature here. Let's get it right up there so you can see him. They capture the bug, mainly because as they turn him loose, an entire army pulls through with like tanks and weapons, and they're shooting at them. When the heroes are rescued by one of their own using an alien tractor beam. So, you know, the bug decided his chances were better on the alien ship than with the guy shooting at him, so he jumps aboard. And that's when we find out that this poor bug is really nothing than a teenager with a tattoo. I'll leave the rest of that for you to find out. But essentially he joins up with them, and they become this band of... It's definitely kind of like very reminiscent of the X-Men. They are working to bring together all of these folks that have these abilities or special powers together, so that they can work and do good. They end up going over to Australia to kind of try and find what's going on. And, well, this is what they find. And that's just kind of where they leave us off at. So it's going to be kind of interesting to kind of find out where that goes next. I'm always for a good story when it comes to some, you know, good mutant action and things of that nature. So, you know, hey, that has me happy. So yeah, overall, some good options. Like I said, I will admit, very much kind of, you know, if you like X-Men, you're going to like this comic. This one here, you got some fun time travel going on. And I just don't think you can go wrong right now when it comes to Amber Blake. Especially if you like a comic with a good, strong protagonist. So that's what I have for you guys this week. I do want to let the folks know, the folks that were contest winners, I should have your things in the mail the end of this week, hopefully. Unfortunately, last week I was so incredibly sick, and the weather has not been really super cooperative here. So between me being sick and really bad weather, I just haven't gotten everything shipped out yet. It's boxed and ready to go. I just have to take it to the comment in the section below here. Let me know what you're reading. Like, have you found any cool new comics lately? like I said, these were really, you know, like I said, I like the bigger cover because, like, especially because I like to show you guys the comics. I can hold all three of them and you can still see them. Yay! So yeah, that's what I had for you guys for this week. Like I said, always feel free when you're checking this out to post in the comments below. To, you know, tell me what you're reading. Tell me what you thought of these comics. Tell me if there's any questions you had about them. Or hey, if you picked them up and you read them, hey, let's have a chat about that in the thread here. So, you know, guys, like I said, if I have ever made you laugh, made you smile, if I entertain you in any way, shape, or form, don't forget to share this with people and like and subscribe. That way, you don't have to miss out on any of the fun. So for now, everybody, this is going to be Shield Maiden signing out. Till next time, everybody, fly those geek flags high. Hold on.